T says that I wanted to discuss addiction. Currently, I'm addicted to both cigarettes and weed, and I'm using it on a daily basis, mostly while hanging with friends and playing music and watching documentaries. And I feel as though in the spiritual realm, these things are stigmatized and not talked about. Obviously, I know the importance of looking after this body. However, I developed these habits when I was younger, and they're beginning to trap me. Although I'm only 21 at the moment, my addictions are inhibiting me from being able to engage fully in spiritual practice. I was hoping you could discuss what addiction is from a spiritual perspective and effective processes to breaking addiction. Now, the first thing that I will enlighten you about is that, remember, a lot of our addictions are actually hereditary. So we can be experiencing addictions from even ancestral connections, meaning, great, great, great grandmother and their addictions to certain things. So be aware of that. And also understand the root and the cognate of the word drug is dragon. So I don't necessarily put marijuana in the same category as tobacco, even though they are actually not just tobacco, because even the cigarettes that are out today is not just tobacco. So, it's very important to do distinguish between one from the other. However, addiction is an addiction, and it does remove power from your consciousness if some reason that you say, well, I'm not going to do this no more, but you can't find the energy to not do it. So, we don't want to overlook, though, those imbalances that were mentioned earlier, especially in regards to the relationship, because when we have an imbalance going on in one place, it somehow acts out in another way that we may not understand. Like we talked about last show, how just a child being isolated in the hospital during that first period of time that it comes out of the womb can lead to that child being very clingy, let's say, later on in life, especially in the female to the male tense. So there are many things that we experience earlier in life that act out in a totally different way. We got about 5 minutes here, so I got to speed through this. So I'm just going to read through. So oftentimes when we use substances in conjunction with things we like to do with the body and the mind, that somehow the body and the mind get hardwired to believing that it has to do that whole formula in order for it to achieve that type of enjoyment. So this can kind of be dangerous. So you like documentaries, you like hanging out with friends, you like music. So then when you throw smoking and you throw weed into it, the body starts to think, because it's still accepting the program. The body is highly programmable. The mind is programmable. We've witnessed that with MK Ultra, even the biorhythmic clock of waking up at a certain time in the morning. So understand, everything is programmable with the mind and the body. So the mind and the body can say, well, I need this formula in order to even have fun, because I enjoy to do all these together. So the more we incorporate these still addictive substances with new things, the more we increase the dependency, because our life is often full of new things, hearing new information, etc. So, if we're doing these addictive drugs and then listening to new knowledge, somehow the body and the mind say, whoa, shoot, I only can get this level of knowledge when I'm in this formula, right? So be careful of that. The only real solution I found is to dry it up, quit 22 days. I think in everything you understand that AA, Alcohol Anonymous, actually contains the formula of overcoming addictions, right? And so many of the things about it, like you have to first accept that it is addiction, are actually rooted in even spiritual principles. So especially with the cigarettes, because I understand cigarettes to be more of a configuration for negative energies, that they're actually, like, I used to call them the devil's incense, not to, do the God and devil thing, but they do bring around a certain kind of energy. So you do want to be really cautious of that. So during the 22 days, you should focus on how much more powerful you are than these substances. And there will be a battle, but you will prevail, especially if you set it up like that, like you're actually in this battle with these substances. And this allows you to gain more levels of self-mastery, even if you do, let's say, decide to, smoke a joint every now and then. After that, it will be a totally different kind of perspective that you gain from that experience. So I'm going to see exactly. Somebody did comment that Iboga does help with addictions, and I will agree that Iboga, especially in microdoses, you don't have to actually go through the whole Iboga experience, but through microdoses, Iboga is more like a very strong fatherly kind of energy, and so it has a tendency to come in and to really set your mind straight and to really let you see your level of being, where you're at, what's going on, and then in conjunction with all these substances who are like minors compared to who you really are. So definitely a good point to bring up. So